Welcome to Outside the Jungle, where we celebrate everything Komets. I am your host, Shane Albahrani, and we have another action-packed show for you tonight. Starting with tonight's interview, Komets beat writer from the Journal-Gazette, Justin Cohn, will also go back to November 2nd for some highlights. You can play along with Komets Trivia, and of course, we'll have another Bob Chase classic. But up first, here is Justin Cohn as I ask him about last week's first batch of player signings. He also mentions a few names he would like to see in Fort Wayne next season, and that's coming up right after this.
Season tickets for the 69th season of Komet Hockey are on sale now. No lines, no fees, no hassles, and all the fun. Right now, you can save up to 25% off walk-up pricing on prime seat locations. See every home game and receive exclusive season ticket holder benefits like ticket exchange nights, future season location upgrades, and discounts on souvenirs and merchandise. Act now to save big and join the greatest fan base in the ECHL. Call the Komet office or visit komets.com/tickets and join the crowd.
All right, Justin Cohn from the Journal-Gazette, kind of going outside of the organization for this show. But, of course, Justin, no stranger to the Komet organization, the beat writer for the Journal-Gazette and one of the number one podcast guests of all time, Justin Cohn.
Yeah, number one based on quality or based on quantity of listeners? Actually,
listeners. I think all three of your episodes are probably in the top 20. I know a few maybe in the top 10.
Well, you know, I'm full of stories, if nothing else, right?
All right. Well, speaking of stories, let's talk about the big story for the Komets this week, or last week rather. 3 signings, 3 big names. What are your initial thoughts on those 3 signings?
Well, I think it's a very good start when you're putting together your roster, especially when everybody kept talking about wanting to kind of build off what they started last season and rebuilding that nucleus, which began last summer. So, to bring back your captain and one of the franchise's all-time greats, and then, a young up-and-coming player like Anthony Petruzzelli, I think that's a really good start. But, of course, you got to have more than just 3 players in your nucleus.
Now, is there anybody like you in particular? You know a lot of names, a lot of things. What with the 3 that have already been mentioned? What other player would you like to see in a Komet uniform? Do you think would be a good fit with Ben's system?
So you mean returning players or free agents?
Free agents.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge list of players, and I'll admit, of course, I don't know all of them because you got all the guys on NHL and AHL contracts, and if they're on expiring contracts, they'll be ECHL free agents. But because of what's going on with the NHL and the AHL, it's a little unclear everybody that's out there.
But in a perfect world, an ECHL guy.
Yeah. Well, the 2 names that I keep coming back to are Cedric Lacroix, who obviously finished up with Toledo and has looked really good against the Komets. And I think Blake Siebenhaler would have a lot of interesting facets to it, being a Fort Wayne guy, being that the Komets really need to rebuild the defense. He's still pretty young, so I think there's a lot of pluses there. He's had a bunch of injuries, but really most of them have been kind of fluke things. When you're last season his skate hit his leg and it was a bad laceration. I don't even know all the ins and outs of exactly what happened, but that's not something that I look at and say, okay, that guy's injury prone. That's just a freak hockey thing. So those are the 2 names that I keep coming back to myself. But I'll throw one other name out there, and I don't know how possible this is, but there's been a lot of talk that the Canadian universities are going to allow their players to play in the pros and not kill their eligibility. So a name that immediately jumped to me was Felix Martineau.
Yes.
So those are the 3 names that I would throw out as free agents that I feel like would look really good, and I'm betting that they've investigated those.
Yeah, I'm sure those are probably on a short list somewhere.
Choosing my words carefully, right?
But, talking about the 3 guys we signed, Sadlowski, Jenks, and Petruzzelli. Now, at one point, you likened Anthony Petruzzelli as the next Sean Sadlowski. Is that still
true?
I think it's still true if you're considering what I meant by it.
Right.
Okay? What I meant was, here was a guy who, when he joined the team, was really a grinder, a third line type of guy, but had this history when he was younger of being this prolific scorer. So when I said that, that's what I was thinking, was a guy who's going to be able to score a bunch at this level, even though you maybe didn't expect it, and had all these other attributes of being able to grind and play with a lot of energy and things like that. So obviously, Sid kind of threw it back in my face the other day, and I think what he was talking about was Petrozelli never fights, and Sadlowski obviously does. So that's true, but that wasn't necessarily what I was getting at. But I absolutely think Petrozelli, if he stays with the team and continues to put up, let's say, 20 to 25 goals a year, which I think is a legit expectation. I mean, I could see him turning into one of those, real offensively charged fan favorite players for many years.
Yeah, and Sean Sadlowski, when the puck drops, it'll be his 8th season as a Comet, and there's only 11 other players, I think, that have played 7 or more consecutive seasons, or 8 or more consecutive seasons with the Comets. So right there is an accomplishment. So where would you rank Sean Sadlowski all time with the Comets?
Well, what you just said, having longevity in the ECHL, I mean, that's incredible. If you remember when the team moved, from the CHL and the IHL to the ECHL, that was the big thing that we said, we're never going to see this anymore.
Yeah.
Is guys being here for years and years and years, just because of the turnover and the league demographic being generally younger. So that in itself is amazing. He's one of the all-time franchise greats. I think that he'll have his number retired, and he'll probably be the last player that we see a number retired for a while, is what I think. I know there's a couple names out there that people talk about, but that's my general feeling. But I do think championships count for something, even in 2020. So, let's be honest, 8 years, and he has yet to get that. So I think we have to factor that in a little bit when we're comparing him to, say, the Len Thornsons of the world and the Colin Chalks of the world, people like that. So definitely one of the franchise's all-time greats, no-brainer, retired number. But am I putting him up there on the Mount Rushmore? No, I'm not there yet.
Not there yet. Now, if Sean Sadlowski, if he keeps up the same pace that he has been, if he plays, say, just 2 more years, he'll probably be in the top 10 in every category, goals scored, assists, and points. Would that change your mind?
No, because it's really hard to compare stats from league to league, from generation to generation. So, it's information, but I'm a big eye test guy. So, I mean, I love him. My favorite part of his game is that he'll go mix it up. I mean, he's at his best when he's, I'm going to get fired up. I'm going to go fight somebody and score 2 goals and have an assist. So, I mean, you're making it sound like I'm down on him.
No, not at all.
I don't have him up with like the Thorntons or, to me, the bar for, let's say the 2000s is Colin Chalk. I mean, that to me is the bar, and that's a pretty high bar.
Sure. Absolutely. So when you saw Sean Sadlowski, the first time he skated in Fort Wayne, what did you think of him? Because here was a guy who took half a year to really get comfortable in Fort Wayne. And even that whole first season was a little bit, but then he took off. So that development of him turning into the scorer, which really didn't think he was, but he turned into that.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline his first season was, okay, here's a guy who was on an NHL contract, but they thought so little of him that they were going to send him to a team that wasn't even their affiliate. So to say he was a bit of an afterthought when he first joined the team, I mean, I don't think that's a stretch. Yeah. And then throughout that first season, it was like, okay, here's a really good multi-purpose, grinding forward. And, it really clicked late in that year because, I think there was that realization from him, okay, I need to reinvent myself. My contract is up. do I want to be one of those guys, or do I want to really conjure up what I can really do? And he did. And I'll give Gary Graham a lot of credit too. He really helped get the best out of him for a few years there. So and Gary was a demanding coach, obviously, who not everybody gelled with. And Sid really took his game to an unbelievable level under him. So but yeah, that first year, would I have envisioned league's leading scorer or MVP? No, that was not something that entered my mind until the next season, when I think he had 38 goals. So.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the guy who we haven't mentioned yet, AJ Jenks, who, when he signed, were you kind of surprised? Was that something last year where you were like, how's this going to work?
Well, I probably shouldn't tell this story.
Should we save it for another podcast?
No.
Just tease it.
So I think I've said it before. I did get a couple calls from people in and around the organization to kind of ask, what would you think of this? And I think, well, I know what they were after was not really what I thought, like, who cares what I think when they say, but what people would think. Obviously he had been a nemesis for so many years. I think it was a legitimate concern. Would people think, oh, we don't want that Toledo guy here, or he blew out Sid's knee, or any number of things? Or do you want a guy that's been kind of cast off by Toledo? There were a lot of things. And my initial reaction was, look, if he's healthy and you can get him, go get him. Like, all that other stuff will get worked out.
Yeah.
So I was a big believer in that signing from the start. Obviously, I had my reservations about his injuries, and I think we'll always have those. But, when you're talking about a guy who really gets under people's skins as well as he does, I mean, I always want guys like that on my team. And he plays really well in big games. So I wasn't sure how he would kind of gel with these guys that he had played against. And I hadn't necessarily thought of him being the captain right away. I mean, I knew they said captain material, but I think he was great last season. I think he did a lot to help get guys ready for games before they're going on the ice. And there were a few nights that I can think of where he was really banged up, probably shouldn't have been playing, and went out there and delivered some really good games. So I would think that he'll be that much better in year two. So, and I think the dynamic with him and Sid and some of these other guys was really solid.
Yeah, all three guys signed are certainly gamers and guys who can lead. So, you're a big Red Wings fan. Was that the equivalent of Claude Lemieux signing with the Red Wings?
I mean, look, I'm not a fan. I don't think of it that way. But no, well, I don't know about Claude Lemieux, but I'm sure we could come up with
Chris
another
Chelios,
name.
there's one. There's a good one.
Who?
Chris Chelios.
No, well, Chelios wasn't. It's not bad. It's not bad. I was thinking more like what was his name? Like Adam Marsh, I think was the big Colorado guy that was hated.
Adam Deadmarsh,
yes. So maybe something like that. I will admit I had crushed the guy so many times for that hit on Sidlowski that I was a little bit worried, like, all right, is he going to hate me? But he's been great from the start.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, we did a huge interview, in training camp where I talked about the history between him and Sidlowski and the hit and all the things that meant and how they weren't talking. And, I said to him, I was like, look, let's talk about this once and we never need to talk about it again.
Yeah.
And he really opened up, they both did great interviews, and it was, I think, a really good story. And from then on, I mean, he's been great. He's accessible, and, I tend to go straight to the captain. If the team loses like 6-1, I mean, I'm usually beelining for the captain, because that's the one to talk. And, poor Jamie Shaftsma got that interview for me far too often. But, Jenks was great in those situations.
Yeah. And here's a story idea. Sean Sidlowski and Anthony Petruzzelli, they've got a great off-the-ice rivalry. They are hilarious. And if you could actually get a camera on those two roasting each other, I think it would be a good story.
Oh well, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Maybe we can do. What are they? Clue us in. What are they jibing each other about?
It's everything and anything. So it's pretty hysterical. So actually, that might have to be a podcast just to get those two on next year.
Well, that's a good idea.
So what else have you been doing? Let's catch up with you just for a minute. I mean, it's rough for everybody, especially you cover all sports. There's nothing going on right now, but you've been finding interesting stories nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of storytelling right now. You can see the background behind me. We did a special section on Sunday where we let athletes and coaches talk about minority issues, and they wrote it themselves, and we didn't interfere. So I was pretty proud of our paper doing that. But for me, it's been a lot of, trying to tell different stories, and some of it's been emotional stuff. Obviously, Doug Rigler, when, he was really ill with COVID, that was one. And Bobby Phillips volunteering to volunteer in New York in hospitals, those were stories that I really worked hard on, and, tried to get some family members to open up.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also been trying to, tell stories about people that we just haven't touched before. Reggie Millette is a good example, African-American hockey player who spent time in Fort Wayne, and, there's a lot to his story. I mean, he had a really difficult life in Florida, and then couldn't afford hockey here, and somebody anonymously paid for his ice bill, and now he's in the USHL. And I've been kind of cold calling some people lately, and everybody's got a story. You just got to find it, So, whether it's just finding golfers in the community and things like that. And, there's, I've been doing a lot of TBT, the basketball tournament coverage, because there's a lot of Fort Wayne ties there. But, the big thing that I tell other reporters and just people is, like, right now is the time to be telling stories. You can take the easy way out and just spend every day coming up with some top 10 list, top 10 players who have worn this number, or you can find really great stories that people aren't finding. And I've been trying to do that. And, we're 3 months into it, and I haven't run out of stories yet. So, talk to me in a few months, I guess. But I think that's the vein to really try and take.
All right, buddy. Well, you keep on digging, and we will see you in the fall.
All right. Thanks, Shane.
Justin Cohn, everyone. He has been the Komets beat writer for over 20 years, so he has some stories, and you can hear them on 3 different episodes of the Huntington University Komets podcast. They are 3 of the most popular episodes we have produced, and you can listen to them all by going to Komets.com, clicking on Fan Zone, or get them on Apple Podcast. Next up, we go back to November 2nd as the Indy Fuel were in town for their first visit of the season. Then after the highlights, get ready to play along with some Komets Trivia right after this.
Season tickets for the 69th season of Komet Hockey are on sale now. No lines, no fees, no hassles, and all the fun. Right now, you can save up to 25% off walk-up pricing on prime seat locations. See every home game and receive exclusive season ticket holder benefits like ticket exchange nights, future season location upgrades, and discounts on souvenirs and merchandise. Act now to save big and join the greatest fan base in the ECHL. Call the Komet office or visit komets.com/tickets and join the crowd.
Binkley ahead, goes off the stick of St. Now they come in. Score! Mason Berg! Yeah. Lasarchuk on the right side. Or check that, that's Ross. Ross will take a shot. Score!
That's in front.
Sergei Lowen gets
Lowen's first goal as a Komet. Yeah, he parked himself in front of the net there. Ross took the shot, and Lowen just got his stick on it, redirecting it.
Picks it up in the last second.
Puck.
Oh, it's still loose. Oh, another save by Williams. Puck bouncing around.
Lasarchuk got it.
Score!
Somehow it got in.
Williams just could not control it. Let's see if he's got to go. He drops the gloves. And here we go. Hit with Matt Thompson. Here's Bowdens lining him up, looking for a right hand. He's got a hold of the jersey. Bowdens now with an uppercut on Thompson. Now an overhand right. Thompson returns the favor. And now Bowdens looking to line him up again. Thompson's helmet flies off. Now Bowdens with another chop on the top of the head. And down goes Thompson. McCardle's going to drop the gloves. He's in there with Mason Berg, and Berg takes him down.
Berg drilled him pretty good.
Now they return it to the point. Here's St. Amant, top of the sock.
Score! Come on.
Sean St. Amant.
Yep.
Top
On the
of the
point,
right
power play.
And he blasts
Heck of a shot.
Williams. But the game is over. Komets win it 5-3.
Komets Trivia time, and I have our latest contestant, Fiona. And Fiona is ready to go here. I have laid out the ground rules. It is 5 questions. You've got 10 seconds to answer. The first 2 are going to be pretty easy, but then they're going to get a little bit harder. And then when we get into the harder questions, that's when the prizes come into play. So, Fiona, are you ready for question number 1?
Yeah, I should be.
All right, this is an easy one. The Komets play in the ECHL Central Division. Just name one other team in the Central Division.
The Kalamazoo K-Wins, or just Wins.
Perfect. That is number 1. Didn't even have to start the clock. All right, excellent job. All right, now number 2, another one. What day do the Komets play the Bob Chase Memorial Game?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, and I don't always have the correct answers, but the Kaylee Schrock bobblehead does. And
Nice.
Kaylee Schrock says you are correct, and that is number 2. All right, now, here we go. Little bit tougher. So we're going to go back a little ways. We're going to go back to 2003. The Komets won the Colonial Cup that year, playing in the United Hockey League. Who did they beat to win the championship?
The Quad City Mallards.
Easy. That is 3 in a row. And she is in the money, if there will. We have got prizes now. Okay. Number 4. Now we're sticking with that 2003 championship series against Quad City. Now, that the game number 5, the championship game, it went into overtime. The Komets won it in overtime. Who scored the game-winning goal just 39 seconds in to overtime?
I don't know.
You want to think about it? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Dustin Virag scored that goal. He had 6 goals and 12 assists in that series. And note about Quad City, the Komets have played the Quad City Mallards in the IHL, CHL, the UHL, and the ECHL. So wherever the Komets have gone, the Mallards have followed, but unfortunately not with the Komets anymore. Okay, yeah. So all right, we got chance to redeem yourself here, Fiona.
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. Okay, we all know about the Miracle on Ice, the U.S. Olympic hockey team, gold medal winners. But did you know that one of those players brought his gold medal to Fort Wayne to play for the Komets the next season? So now, you will have the duration of one Kaylee Schrock fight to answer. Fiona, do you have an answer?
I do. Steve Janicek.
Yes, it is Steve Janicek. He was the backup goaltender for the U.S. Olympic hockey team in 1980. He came to Fort Wayne the next year, and he played 42 games with the Fort Wayne Komets. And Fiona is a big winner. She got 4 out of 5, so we are going to give her one Len Thornton autograph bobblehead. Are you excited?
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, I know I am. Good job. Great job, Fiona. Thanks for playing, and good luck, and we will see you in the fall.
it's that time again. It's time for the final segment of the show. We're going back to October 24th, 2008, as the Komets were in Bloomington, Illinois to take on the Prairie Thunder, and it was the night both organizations played tribute to former Komet, the late Rob Gwynn. So let's send it out to Bob Chase out in Bloomington.
Well, good evening. We, of course, at U.S. Cellular Coliseum. We are in Bloomington, Illinois, the home of the Prairie Thunder. Announcing that we're going to be honoring Rob Gwynn, as we told you earlier. And Rob's widow and baby daughter, Brooke, his wife, and Olivia, their little daughter, will be here to accept something that the Fort Wayne Komets, the Bloomington Prairie Thunder, have put together, who everybody always liked. And everybody, both teams are standing respectfully at their benches, and the fans, many of them are standing up as they watch this little presentation, as Gwinner never one to shy away from action. Pictures of Gwinny with both the Komet jersey on as well as the Prairie Thunder jersey. So giving him his credit for the two teams he played for here in the IHL and the UHL. One of the last interviews I did over here was with Rob Gwynn last year, the final game that we played. These are the times I wish that I had saved many of the interviews that I've done over the years, but you amass such an incredible amount, such a volume of them, that you just really can't get it done. But there are some moments I wish I had been able to preserve, and Rob's interview was one of those. Always called me Chaser, and it was just a pleasure to watch Rob Gwynn. So right now, we're ready to start a hockey game. And the players come out and they'll skate around just a little bit, loosen up before we drop the puck and get this one underway. Lead pass good to Shafronov. Here's Schaff. Feeds it up the middle. It's a bouncing puck. Here it comes. Chalk's got it deep. Oh, score! As Chalk sets up Shafronov. Bang, bang, bang. And back again we come. Oh, cross rink. It's Dupuis. Look, shoot, score! Dupuis gets the goal. Goes to PC. To Dupuis, down the right wall to Chalk. Chalk looks and he goes, shoots, and it deflects wide. Score! The rebound came right back to Curado. Back we go. One more time. Look out. Into the zone. It's Huckalo. Huck still got it. He's in front. Feeds back. Curado. Score! From Huckalo. Second goal of the night for Curado. Power play now. It is 4-2. Here it comes back again. The goal going in. Next man. Here they come. 2-on-1. Legault's got the lead. Here he comes, feeds it back in front of the net. Pot shoots, just missed the net. Here they come back in again, broken up again by Maranovic. Up come the Komets. In goes PC Drew, and he looks, he's out front. Shoot, score! PC pulls the trigger, bang, short-handed. Into the corner it goes. Dignan is Slusher, the D-man. Round the wall, kept in by the Komets. He shot, oh boy, right in front of the net, kind of waiting for that one was Potts. And he could not get a stick on it when he needed it. Right to the front of the net, no play. Kept in again as it's going to be Legault banging it deep. Picked off there by Potts. Right out front, shot, save! Komets have it up top. Now it's PC Druin down in the corner for Chalk. Back to PC. PC looks, can't get it, down to Chalk again. They're trying to get it to Curdo up. Score! What a play. Chalk set it up. Curdo, high slot, bang, bang. He has the hat trick. With that puck, back up ice it comes as sent back into the corner. Potts was in, finally dumped the puck deep in the zone. Man, they gave him a bad pass, but Potts, he saw the traffic coming and got it dumped. This one gets by, buzzer sounds, game over. Final score 7-4. Komets beat the Bloomington Prairie Thunder.
Another show is in the books. I hope everyone enjoyed it. So until next time, stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you again outside the jungle.